Hi, my name is Sarah Stowers. My unit project is Found Objects in Sustainable Pedagogy. This is about 9 weeks. It can be over that since I only see my fourth graders once a week, and it's going to be 28 art days. So that's almost a whole entire quarter of school. So essentially, this unit is centered around multiple contemporary artists who mock traditional methods by experimenting, playing, and taking risks using unconventional tools to create. Um, I wanted to focus on the sustainable side of this and having students be able to connect to their environment, their community, by upcycling materials such as plastic and cardboard and even trash and old toys within the unit. So the first lesson focuses on mixed up media. We focus on the artists Robert Rauschenberg, Lena Pruda, Vic Moons, and Stephen Gross. All of these artists use unconventional tools to create their art and use unconventional media. Rauschenberg, he used random objects to make collages known as combines. Stephen Gross, he would use plastics and oils and created the term oil plastics to create sculptures. We had Vic Munez, who's known for his photography and like recreating images out of like food and dust and glitter and taking pictures of that. And then Lena Purita, who uses mixed media like fiber arts and artificial plants within her artwork. So this project focuses on all these four artists, and students get to research these contemporary artists and figure out and make a plan on what they want to pull from each artist, or maybe just pull from a few of them and create their own untraditional collage. So right here is their plan, and they're working backwards to design and research each of these artists on their own as I am monitoring their laptops through different apps that are approved through the district. And at the end of the lesson, once they created their collage, they're going to be peer critiquing and self-critiquing through 2 exit tickets that they will turn in towards the end of the period. Lesson 2 is called Out of the Box. I kind of took this name from one of my favorite TV shows as a kid, where a group of creatives gathered and they would take boxes of cardboard and create this like place-based pedagogy where you go inside the cardboard and it's like where students and friends and family members can play and imagine and experiment. And I wanted to bring that into the classroom. This was something that I did a lot as a kid, was create miniature houses out of cardboard. So students will discuss another handful of artists. This includes Chris Gilmore, Dan Phillips, Gregory Cullen, Justin King, Mark Langan, and Trey Guton. These artists either work with cardboard or they take upcycled materials and trash and they create homes out of that. So in front of you is 2 of the handouts students will be receiving, which is planning their cardboard house, drawing out their design, and then getting more deep into the design of the house, what materials they're going to use, what artists influenced them to create that. Lesson 3 is using your voice. Students are going to be focusing on 3 contemporary artists. Veronika Richterova, she is an artist from Prague. She uses recycled materials to create art pieces called mixed recyclation. The next artist is Tazi. She has a love for the ocean. She travels all over the world collecting trash from different bays, from different parts of the world and their oceans. And she takes that trash and creates sculptures and art pieces from it. The other artist is Alejandro Duran. He's from Mexico. He takes trash, he'll paint it, and then he'll put it back into the environment in a specific way to make it look like a river or rocks, but it's just a pile of trash. And he does this to advocate for nature. Students will also be researching waste within their community, their campus, their own homes, and their county within this project. And students will be collecting their own materials for this project as well. So the first part of this lesson is a prototype. I'm going to have students work together in groups to essentially come up with some kind of impactful miniature sculpture that will eventually build a bigger picture and make an installation for the school. So I want to turn this small group project into something bigger. So students are going to be having a little competition within themselves. They're going to be going by not only their class, but they're going to be competing with all of fourth grade. So for example, the pink table will be making a prototype blue table in one period, and they will be going against another class. Each class will be peer reviewing and voting on which prototype they think and which installation based off of the group's presentations in the end are the best. So every group is going to come up to the front and explain their prototype and why it's going to look the best in the school installation and what their installation might entail. Is it going to be water bottles hanging off of fishing wire? Is it going to be like a chihuly where they cut up the bottles and it looks like glass hanging? So students are coming up with their own ideas for this installation. They will then vote on whose is the best within each class. We pick who's the best in each class, and then from there they will get to vote personally through Canvas, which is the school website that we use, or I will give everybody a QR code that they will scan, and then they will get to vote on the top winners. Those winners will be announced. I'll get to announce them on the morning show, and then that prototype will be picked for the fourth grade wide installation. This is how students within the lesson are going to be tracking their recyclables. We're going to mostly focus on plastic within this lesson. So I want students to be able to research on their own and research as a team plastic waste within the United States, plastic waste within Florida, within Collier County, and then the student's own home. And they're going to be logging it through this worksheet. These other two sheets, the first one is going to be the art critique. This is also where students are going to be researching the different artists and then grabbing ideas from those artists to make their prototype for their installation. And then towards the end, after peer review and picking out what's installation one, this is just a reflection on their prototype project and how they felt they did and how they felt other students did in the class and how they felt overall about the impact of plastic waste within their communities. This is an example of what some assessments might look like. We in elementary school, we don't really have quizzes or tests, so we focus on mostly rubrics and then peer and self-critiques. I also have a scale checklist at every table, so when students are done with their project, they'll put like their clip with their name on where they think they landed within the rubric based off of the scale. These are a few of the contemporary artists that I mentioned within this PowerPoint who use non-traditional tools like plastic, trash, and cardboard to create their artwork. That's Stefan Gross in the corner on the left with his oil plastics. In the middle is Gregory Colin with one of his homeless shelters made out of trash. In the top right corner is Justin King with his taxidermy cardboard pieces. And at the bottom is Tazi, and she focuses on environmental impact and sustainability within her art. Throughout my unit, I'm hoping my students better understand that art doesn't have to be made in a traditional sense. You know, I explain Art Basel a lot to them and how I got to see an artist, tape that banana to the wall. Like, how is that art, art isn't just painting on a canvas or using pencils. Art can be sticking a fork in paint and smearing it all over your paper, or sticking your hands in the paint and smearing it art can be made out of toys, it can be made out of food, trash, anything around you. And I hope that my fourth graders better understand that creating art can be a, a form of using your voice, getting out what you're feeling, what you believe in, and how to educate others addressing environmental issues or maybe even political issues or just issues that you feel strongly about. I want this lesson to be the start of many lessons where my students are thinking outside of the box and they're able to experiment and play and understand that art is all around us.